Now I was using these Teflon screens. You can get these on Amazon if you just put Teflon screens for dehydrating or something to that effect, and I'm sure these will pull these up. You will need to wash them because I can feel the stickiness because corn does have sugar involved in it. The next thing I'm going to do is take all of this dried corn and we're going to put it into a vacuum sealed bag. So the first thing I'm going to do is seal the edge of that bag. If you've never seen that, it's really simple. I would encourage everyone to get a vacuum sealer because it's not just for food. And I'll leave it at that. Hello and welcome back to New and Old Survival. My name is Darren and I'm here to let's do some more stuff, right? Well, you might notice I've got a COVID-19 haircut. It's not really a haircut because it hasn't been cut, but what I do have is some information that might help you out with your food storage. A lot of times we buy cans, freezer foods, refrigerated foods, but those all take up space and they require electricity, except for the canned foods that you're going to put on the shelf. But unless they're freeze dried or dehydrated, then they don't last quite that long. So what I'm going to show you today is how to maximize your food storage. Stay tuned. Here we have some Glory seasoned green beans. I did pick these up at Walmart. They was like somewhere around $5, $4.86, $5.23. I don't know. It was somewhere close to $5. And it's a gallon. It's way too much for me and my family of 3 here. So what I'm going to do is be putting those in the dehydrator. And I've also have some great value golden sweet whole kernel corn, which is about the same price, somewhere around the $5 mark. But again, a little bit too much for me and my family to eat at one time. I may have to do this in 2 different drying sessions for my dehydrator, but we'll see what happens. So it's quite simple, really. All we have to do is scoop out our green beans, and I have a slotted spoon to make sure that most of the juice that we can get out remains in the can. And we're going to spread these out somewhat evenly. It doesn't really matter. We're going to see, I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but the stems, I do try to go ahead and remove those, and that way we don't have to fight with them later. And it leaves room for another green bean if we possibly can. So we don't want them really heaped up and mounded, but if you have one on top of another, it's not going to matter that much. And we're going to finish these out and show you what that looks like. So after getting all the green beans out of the can, it looks like we have enough for 4 trays, and that leaves 5 for the corn. So let's begin on that. So we have our corn. We're going to do the same thing. Try not to lose too much. And it does appear that the corn is more full than the green beans. The green beans probably had half of the gallon can, or the number 10 can if you want to be technical, full of water. So it really felt full, but by the time we got our green beans out of it, there was a lot of liquid left over. And I do know that I'm going to have to clean up some because I see corn falling apart, and they will attract mice. So let's fill these up and we'll see what we end up with. Remember, if you don't have a dehydrator yet, then you can still do this at home. Just lay all the food out on your baking pans, cookie sheets, even frying pans. Set the oven to the lowest temperature that it will go while still being active, and you want to let this go with the door cracked so air can circulate. But it's much easier in a dehydrator. Trust me, I've tried it. And we are just finishing up, getting the last few remnants out of this can, and it's going to fill 5 trays. So it seems like there's a little bit more food in the gallons of corn than it is the gallons of beans. That's interesting. Nonetheless, these will be beneficial if we're going on a camping trip or a hiking trip or power outage. You can see that I'm not getting very much out of here at all. That much, right? So, and I'm gonna have to clean this off. And that's about it. So we're going to load our last tray into the dehydrator. Put the lid in here. And I'm going to take this off of the tripod. Sorry for the motion. We're going to set our temperature. We're going to set it down about 131. The timer, 10 hours is what it default for this Gourmet 9-tray dehydrator it goes to. So we're going to let that go for 10 hours at 131. Okay, so now that our veggies are done, try to do this one-handed. I'm just going to let them air out. Today is not a humid day, and instead of the 10 hours, I actually had to let them go for about 13 hours. And we can see some of the corn that's dropped down in the slots, but our beans right now are just a smidge rubbery, so I may even have to go another hour or so to let them finish dehydrating. But our corn is just fine. It's almost crumbly, so that's going to work out great. Sorry for the camera work. I'm holding it with one hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of corn. 1, 2, 3, 4 trays of beans, and you're going to see how much space that this saves simply by dehydrating. So we're going to dump our corn into this bowl, and if anybody has a better way of doing this, I would be eager to learn, because this is not really time consuming, but it is consuming some time nonetheless. Now I was using these Teflon screens. You can get these on Amazon. If you just put Teflon screens for dehydrating or something to that effect, then I'm sure these will pull these up. You will need to wash them because I can feel the stickiness, because corn does have sugar involved in it. The next thing I'm going to do is take all of this dried corn and we're going to put it into a vacuum sealed bag. So the first thing I'm going to do is seal the edge of that bag. If you've never seen that, it's really simple. I would encourage everyone to get a vacuum sealer because it's not just for food. And I'll leave it at that. So we try to determine how much we're going to need, and after a little bit of using the vacuum seal bags, you'll kind of get an idea of how much you're going to need. I'm thinking about that much. You can use a scoop, a spoon, or you can just pour it in there, which is what I'm going to attempt. Lost a couple. Put those back in here. And seal it up. Alright, let's try it again. And I'm going to label this 1 gallon of corn. I thank you for joining me back again with another video from New and Old Survival, teaching you how to learn the old ways, and we're going to mix it with the new ways. But in all of this, we learn how to survive, how to make ourselves more self-reliant. And if you have any tips, tricks, suggestions, I invite you to leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again on the next video.